Hi, VBS small group leaders. In this training, I'm going to go over the VBS daily themes and give you some tips and tricks for running your small group. So far, we have 14 small groups in the age and grade ranges of 2 years through first grade. This training will focus specifically on running your small group classroom time for those grades. This year, we've done something different that should benefit our little friends. I wrote custom classroom curriculum that eliminates some of the bulk, simplifies and reinforces the stories of the day, and hopefully can engage some of your wiggly friends for the short time that you have them. Each day, you'll have a short story to read from our Spark Storybook Bible. It's a Bible that we regularly use in kids ministry, in the preschool classrooms, and in the toddler rooms. You'll also have a preschool-friendly coloring page in each kid's kid guide that they can color as you read. You'll also have a sticker to give your kids to decorate their water bottles each day that corresponds to our big idea of the day. All of this is written in your leader guide to help you run your classroom time, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of a daily breakdown. So on day 1, we'll learn that people are meant to go. We'll hear the story of Moses and we'll read the Red Sea in our Spark Storybook Bible. And that will remind us that we're invited to live a life of adventure with God. Day 1 is an invitation for kids to jump in this week and discover that God is calling each of us to live life with Him and to be people who are sent to share His love with others. You'll read your story in the Spark Storybook Bible. You'll have the kids color a Moses coloring page, and then you'll give them a hot air balloon sticker that reminds us that we can take to the skies wherever and whenever we're called by God to go. On day 2, we will learn that we are never out of God's reach. Our story for the day is the story of Joseph, a story filled with twists and turns and wild adventure. Sometimes we'll face things in life that make us feel like we're too broken, too angry, too sad, and too wild to be within God's love. But we can be sure that God's love is a promise to us. You'll read your story, you'll have your kids color a Joseph coloring page, and then you'll give them an airplane sticker for their water bottles. And that reminds us that even when we feel far away like an airplane flying in the sky, that God's love for us is with us and goes with us anywhere. On day 3, we'll talk about how everyone is invited on the great adventure. That age, status, height, and material things don't disqualify us from God's love and this invitation to live a life with Him. We'll hear the story of young David being chosen to be king, and you'll check it out in your Spark Storybook Bible. Then you're going to color a page of David, and you'll give each kid a helmet and flight goggles sticker. This reminds us that God is the one who prepares us for an adventurous life with Him. On day 4, we'll talk about how there's always an "and" to our story. We'll hear the story of Queen Esther and learn that when things look grim, God is with us. You'll read the story of Esther in your Spark Storybook Bible, they'll color an Esther page, and then you'll give out a cloud sticker to remind kids that when you go outside and you look at the sky and you see all the different amazing shapes of clouds, you'll still find another shape eventually. Clouds remind us that the story isn't over. And last but not least, on day 5, we'll learn that God wants our adventurous life to be a story that tells everyone of His love, wisdom, and power. We'll hear a story of the disciples and discover that our lives all tell a story. And if we trust and follow Jesus, then our story can be one of God's love in our lives. You'll read this story, they'll color a picture, and then you'll give out our last sticker of the week, which is our VBS logo sticker. It reminds us of all of the adventure we had this week and that the adventure continues. Now that you got the scope and sequence of the week, I wanted to give you some tips and tricks and some freedom. So many of you are teachers or individuals who work with kids throughout the year, so feel free to add your own spin to what we've provided you. Take some time each day ahead of receiving your kids to get familiar with what we're teaching and talking about that day. This will help you refrain from feeling unprepared or put on the spot when managing your class time. Then, during class time, you have permission to lead your group how they need to be led. You can read the story in silly voices. You can have the kids color their picture before, during, or after the story. You can sing a song, you can play a game of freeze tag or duck, duck, goose, you can remind them of the theme verse, or you can just simply have them shake their wiggles out. You have the ability to lead this group and change things for how it best serves the group you're leading. The most important thing is reminding kids that they are loved, known, and invited by God to an adventurous life, and the rest is all just added fun. Thank you for serving the kids and families of VBS this year.